And let us know, you guys always have some concerns. You are the voice of many non-Bahamians right now. Today is September 9th,
Yes.
we believe. Let us know what your concerns in relation to GP Power and their plans for October 1st.
Okay. Kirkland Russell, Vice President of the Bahamas Hotel Managerial Association, Vice President of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas Trade Union Congress. This morning, I am here as a part of the Coalition of Concerns Citizens for Grand Bahama to express great disappointment and unbelief in the fact that it is being purported by Emera that on the 1st of October they will implement a levy, and the levy is intended to recoup losses as a result of Hurricane Dorian. I say that Grand Bahama would have endured much, as a matter of fact, too much. And this is certainly not the time to talk about putting extra taxes or burdens on the backs of the Bahamian people. I want to say that Grand Bahama has suffered enough. There is absolutely no more juice to be squeezed out of Grand Bahama. Absolutely no more. I believe that over the years we have not seen Emera as a good corporate citizen. Emera seems to be a company who is hell-bent on profit, 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 and they have no regard for the people of Grand Bahama. Irregardless of what they say, the facts is in the pudding, and the fact of the matter is, for any company to believe at this time in Grand Bahama that the residents or the customers ought to pay for the loss of your infrastructure is inhumane and wrong to the people of Grand Bahama. It is totally wrong. This is absolutely not the time. We should have, Emera ought to be looking for ways to lower the cost. Emera ought not to be looking for ways to tax the people. I want to say this from a labor perspective. Grand Bahama is experiencing the highest unemployment rate in the history of this island. We're talking about around 60%, and that is not my estimation, that is not my numbers. Go into social service and they'll tell you that that is what the numbers are. 60%. The tourism industry in Grand Bahama is basically nothing. We have the major hotel, the major tourist hub on this island is closed, and there is no date in the near future as to when that hotel is going to be up and running to support this island. Our airport is in disarray. Our harbor is in the same position. And so the island of Grand Bahama is in poor shape, and Emera must, we say, not even defer at this particular time. We say suck it up. That is your infrastructure. Emera seems to me as if they are interested in running a cost-free operation. You remember sometime a few years ago when they constructed the new power plant down there at Peel Street, the cost was passed over to the citizens of Grand Bahama, right? The fuel surcharge for the total operation of power is passed on through a pass-through system to the citizens of Grand Bahama. We understand that Emera would have lost a whole lot of customers, some 300+ in East Grand Bahama, a few hundreds over the island of Grand Bahama, including areas like over the bridge. We understand they would have lost revenues from closing or the downsizing of hotels during this season. But we believe that Emera is still making a handsome profit, and they could bear the burden. And so, like every other business on Grand Bahama who had to deal with losses Some people had to deal with losses not only of business, not only of their content. Some people also had to deal with loss of families, you know, who would have died through the storm. Grand Bahama is in dire strait, and we need a caring company. And finally, I want to urge the government of the Bahamas to consider Bahamas Northern Utilities. Those guys would have made application for power distribution for East and West Grand Bahama. We know that the agreement with the Grand Bahama Port Authority, with the Grand Bahama Power Company, now Emera, has come to an end. The agreement to provide and to distribute power to East and West Grand Bahama. We say that to give that portion of the power distribution to the Bahamian company. And we also believe that the 100% Canadian-owned company, they must consider diversifying and bringing in Bahamians as owners of that power company that is behind us. And so it is critical that we consider the people of Grand Bahama, and that Emera change its way of thinking, change its way of doing business, and put the people in Grand Bahama first. Any such levy, any such tax is a no-no and a slap in the face of the people of Grand Bahama.
I noticed the bill entry that asks as well too. Has the coalition had any conversation with the shareholders, or what was their response about you guys' concerns?
That's a very good question. Early on, when the coalition began its campaign, which would actually, September is an anniversary for us. We began September 2013. Prior to that, and when we commenced our campaign, we have asked for a meeting with the CEO at that time. They refused to meet with us. What they wanted to do is they wanted lesser management to meet with us. In fact, prior to the campaign beginning, a group of pastors, we met with the management, and nothing happened. So our position was, because of the nature and importance of bringing down the cost of power, we needed to talk with the decision maker. We even got a call one time from the company saying, can we help you with any of your concerns? So we simply said, sure you could. We would like to have a meeting with the CEO. We never heard back from them. The meeting with the CEO, it seems that they didn't want to meet with us. As a result, what happened is that we realized that we needed to really be meeting with the regulator. And we've had a number of meetings with the regulator over the years. Now, we have made it very clear what our opposition are. We have delivered petition letters to the regulator. And what we can say, in the 2015 rate application of the power company, which would have been the first rate application by the power company since they signed what is known as the Regulatory Framework and Operation Protocol Agreement between the Grand Bahama Port Authority and the Grand Bahama Power Company. Their first rate application, we opposed it, not just we. There was opposition from concerning the increase of rates, even being voiced from the Chamber of Commerce, simply saying this is not the time to do it. The hotels, businesses, it was big uproar. And what happened because of the agitation at that time, one of the things that we were saying is that at that time the world crude oil prices were plummeting. We were saying that since the world crude oil prices are plummeting to lowest levels they've been in decades, then it should be reflected in the fuel surcharges. Because of the opposition at that time, what the power company did was reduce the fuel surcharge. So if there's one tangible thing that we can say resulted from that, is that we were able to reduce that component of the power bill. But the application in 2015 was approved for a base rate increase, which took in effect, would have been January 2016. And so this information that we see going out from the power company saying that they have not gotten a rate increase from 2010 is incorrect. All the media, you can search it up, it will bear that they did increase the base rate of electricity, and it was implemented, and we are paying higher base rates now than we were paying back in 2010. In fact, when we did our research at that time, Grand Bahama had one of the highest base rates of electricity in the Bahamas, and it's one of the highest in this region, and that's a fact. And so, but again, those are the people we had conversations with. All right.
To get into what's your viewpoint on the GD Power supposedly increasing these rates coming from October 1st?
All right. It's important for us to share that over the last year, our executive members of the Coalition of Concerned Citizens have been very, very much involved with hurricane distribution and rebuilding. And we have been at it for a year now, seeing that we're in the anniversary of Dorian. And in our distribution, we have seen the impact it's had on people's lives. We have been distributing from West End all the way into Sweetens Key. We even had distribution done in Waterkey. We also, dealing with hurricane relief, we then had to deal with the pandemic. And the pandemic took the whole economy in Grand Bahama to a whole different level. And so we have seen the impact personally of how it's affect people and how it's affect businesses. So we know that the hurricane has crippled the economy. It has been said about the unemployment rate. In fact, Grand Bahama's economy was struggling before the hurricane. And then the hurricane comes and the unemployment was to 50%. With the pandemic, it has soared even higher. And so the state of the economy is not in a good place at all. We're to a place we've never been before, which calls for partnership from every sector of society to help to bring necessary relief, but also to bring the true restoration that Grand Bahama needs. What we've also seen is that when it comes to Emera Grand Bahama Power Company, it is clear to us that they are more concerned about profits than they are of people. And sadly, that's the reality and nature of business. But what we also realize is that the business model that's being employed for Grand Bahama is the wrong business model. We believe that it should have been a municipal/private partnership arrangement, which means that it's run thinking about the major concerns of the customers, and those concerns are what guides the company's philosophies, along with the fact that you have a private partnership which should contain Bahamian ownership. The fact of the matter is we're dealing with a 100% foreign-owned company, a Canadian company. Even though they have a large, most of their staff is Bahamian. That's commendable. But we have to also realize that this power company, as much as we can say yes, it's run very well. It's run better than other power companies in the Bahamas. But we always have to remember something when it comes to service. When you give good service, that's what you're supposed to do. That is the standard. That is the norm. So they are doing what they're supposed to do. But when it comes to the high cost of electricity, it's been having adverse effect on the economy. It had adverse effect before the hurricane. It's having adverse effect on people now. We have seen the outcry of people and businesses. We have met with the business community. We have met with hoteliers. We have met with people in the industrial sector, and the majority of them are opposed to any further increase in rates. So we strongly oppose this power storm recovery and stabilization charge that is going to be implemented October 1st. Now, it's important for us to say that when we first heard about this storm recovery and stabilization charge, we would have heard about it in February of 2019. February 2020. Let me correct that. And when we heard about it, we actually gave a statement to a national newspaper concerning where our position was. We subsequently met with the regulator, and we stated that this island cannot take any further charge in power, and we let our voice be strongly heard. Afterwards, what happened is that we saw that the power company deferred implementing the charge, and they were intending to implement this storm recovery and stabilization charge April 1st, in the midst of a pandemic. And I guess the pandemic was a factor that helped to defer this further. But when we heard about the deferment, we thought that this deferment would have been something that would go into next year or whatever. Come to find out that we were informed that it would be October 1st. The economy is in no state to bear any further expenses. And so, and let's talk further about the economy. It's important to talk about our economy right now as it is. Our economy is, by all factors, being kept afloat by millions of dollars that has been poured in here by our government, millions of dollars that have been poured in here by NGOs such as Samaritan Purse, the Red Cross, Grand Bahama Disaster Relief Foundation, many other NGOs. The monies that they're pouring in here is keeping our economy afloat. So should customers take monies that are helping them stay afloat and pay a power company for a storm recovery and stabilization charge? No way. It makes no economic sense that you have all these millions of dollars being poured into the economy to keep it afloat, and then you're gonna put a further charge on it. It shows the heartless nature of this power company, and it also shows that they are being driven by profits, because it's obvious to try to implement this charge October 1st that they're dealing with corporate performance. They're dealing with timelines. And what this means, they're trying to please shareholders. Shareholders that most of them are not even in the Bahamas. They're non-Bahamians. So you can only milk a cow so far. In fact, this cow, Grand Bahama, has been drying up. So there's no more milk that you can get from it. And what this calls for is strong partnership across the sectors to say, listen, we can't do this right now. And it's obvious that the Emera Grand Bahama Power Company is not a partner. So we are totally against this storm recovery and stabilization charge. And our plans is to have a coalition of concerned citizen virtual town meeting, which will take place on September 24th. That's Thursday, September 24th at 7 p.m. It will be done on Facebook and Zoom. And during that town meeting, we will talk about what plans we have moving forward to how we can tackle this giant known as the Grand Bahama Power Company. It's also important that we say to all power customers that in the meantime, do whatever you can to save electricity. Also, transition to solar energy as soon as possible. We also say to every customer that if the power company goes ahead and implements this storm recovery and stabilization charge, we say to every customer, don't pay that portion of the bill. It will be separated out. Pay only your electricity bill and challenge that cost. Protest that cost with the Grand Bahama Power Company. But also, we're going to say to everyone, it's time to let your voices be heard. If there's ever time you're going to protest about something, you need to do it. And let's do it with a strong voice. Let's do it with a strong protest to this company and let them know they cannot push over Grand Bahamians anymore. And so that's it, right?
Question, with the Zoom meeting that you guys have, how do persons be a part of it?
Okay, we're going to begin publicizing it through all the social medias. We'll begin publicizing it tomorrow, because then we'll establish the ID that will be available to everyone. In fact, I may be able to get that ID to you tonight. Okay, before you do it. In fact, I'll send it to you today. Okay, because I just have to generate the ID. All right, ready? Since September 2013, the Coalition of Concerned Citizens has been active advocating for the lower cost of electricity on Grand Bahama. We also warned the Grand Bahama community concerning the corporate nature of Emera Grand Bahama Power Company. Over the years, we have challenged this company through media, petitions, protests. In 2015, we challenged the Grand Bahama Power Company's first rate application under the regulatory framework and operation protocol agreement between the Grand Bahama Power Company and the Grand Bahama Port Authority. Permission was given for the power company to increase its base rate in January 2016, but we were able to gain a victory with the reduction of the fuel surcharge, which we were saying should have been reduced months ago because oil prices were plummeting at that time. In the latter part of 2017, we protested Emera's corporate bullying and corporate takeover of the Grand Bahama Power Company by legally forcing minority Bahamian owners to sell their shares in the Grand Bahama Power Company. And by doing this, Emera, a vital infrastructure in the Bahamas, a utility infrastructure, became 100% owned by a foreign company, taking Bahamian ownership backwards decades. We also advocated the government not to renew the West and East End agreement between Grand Bahama Power Company and the government to provide electricity in West Grand Bahama and East Grand Bahama. We believe that it would have been a time, and that was in 2018 when the agreement expired, and we were advocating for, and we still are advocating, that those permissions or the authority be given for a Bahamian company to build power plants in West and East Grand Bahama, and that company being Northern Bahamas Utilities. We believe that that company, which is a Bahamian-owned company, would effectively bring down the cost of electricity by 30 to as much as 40% in West and East Grand Bahama. We are still advocating for that, and we have not heard anything back from the government on that matter. In April 2019, we protested the mistreatment of business owners who were long-standing customers with the power company. Those business owners mainly being the Cooper family and the Burroughs family. and we protested the way that those long-standing customers were treated when it came to the allegation of the power-saving device scam. And we've been active just protesting over the years. But now with this storm recovery and stabilization charge that the power company intends to put on customers October 1st, we need to galvanize across our island and protest in the strongest possible way. We encourage people, do whatever you have to do to protest this company, to protest any further taxes or levies being put upon the people of Grand Bahama. We have to stop the oppression that is taking place in our country. God bless you.